So what I did, I know, that's the hot librarian thing. So last night, it's so funny because, I think many of you know that oftentimes I'm so fucked up that I'll write the column like Wednesday, and and I'm like up all night. My poor husband is, lying in bed pissed off at me because I'm waking him up. And so last night I thought, I have to write them a new column. So I did. I wrote this as I was sitting next to Mr. Sugar in bed in our hotel room. And it's sort of an ode to Tiny Beautiful Things. Have you all read Tiny Beautiful Things? Where I give advice to, what would you tell your 20-something self? So I wrote a sort of corollary to that, if you will. So there's a lot of references to that other column. It's called Tiny Beautiful Sleepless Nights. Dear Sugar, I've read your column religiously for the past 2 years. My question is short and sweet. What would you tell your 41-year-old self who began writing the column if you could talk to her now? Love, Sugar. Dear Sugar, stop worrying about whether you're fat. You're not fat, or rather, you're sometimes a little bit fat, but who gives a shit? There's nothing more boring and fruitless than a woman lamenting the fact that her stomach is round, sweet pea. One day you will wear a hot pink dress on a stage in San Francisco. And everyone in the audience will notice your round belly. And this will make them feel a little bit better about themselves. They will love you more for this. In the middle of the night, in the middle of your 42nd year, you're going to get a Twitter DM from a woman bitching about the fact that you call everyone sweet pea. Press delete. You are not a terrible person for occasionally wanting to sleep on a Wednesday night. You don't need a reason to postpone the Dear Sugar column until Friday or skip a week. Wanting to sleep is enough. Sleeping doesn't mean you're incapable of writing a column, or that you'll never write a column again. It doesn't mean you're morally bankrupt or psychologically demented or dysomniac. It means you wish to change the terms of one particular night. That's all. Be brave enough to go to bed. There are some letters you can't understand yet. Your answers will be a great and continuous unfolding. It's good you've managed to delve deeply into grief and infidelity and kinky sex and dysfunctional parents and neurotic writers. But understand that what you answer will need to be answered again and again. You will come to know things that can only be known by staying up every other Thursday until 3 a.m. Most of those things will have to do with punctuation. One evening you'll be rolling around on the wooden floor with a man you've come to call Mr. Sugar, and he'll tell you he doesn't have a condom. You will smile in this spunky way that you think is hot and tell him to fuck you anyway. There are some things about being a monogamous woman in your 40s that just plain rock. Don't lament so much about how your column will turn out. You don't have a column. You have a community. Do the work. Keep the faith. Be true blue. Your readers will hold you. Most things will be okay eventually, but not everything will be. Sometimes you'll get a letter you can't answer because it's too sad. Sometimes you'll get a letter that you hope is a joke because it's so cruel. Sometimes you'll realize there's nothing you can do, no matter what sort of letter you write in reply. Sometimes in your reply you'll get it only 98% right, and people will write objections about it in the comment section of the column, and you'll realize they have a point. Acceptance will always be a small, quiet room. The tiny, beautiful, sleepless nights will add up to something. The people who write that they adore you, the others who think you got it wrong, the online discussions that don't even involve your column or the letter you answered anymore, the things you would have never remembered or written about, but for this. They are greater than the sum of their parts. Dear Sugar will be your becoming. One Valentine's Day, when your readers and colleagues throw you a big party at the Verdi Club that they plan for months, Don't spend hours trying to compose a complicated letter about the depths of gratitude you feel for all the love they have given you over the past 2 years. Don't get overly sentimental or emotionally grandiose. Do your best to accept their kindness and love, even though doing so is the hardest thing of all. Trust that the simplest words are the words that are most true. Say thank you. Isaac, are you going to? Okay. Listen, thank you. And when the music's over, you all come up and, shake my hand or give me a kiss or something.